Yo, what's up? This is Spencer from Underoath, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
I mean, I'm reunited after so long. I think with you specifically, the last time was when you guys were on Warped Tour, and Alexis on Fire was on that tour as well.
Wow.
And this was like in Pomona when I talked to you. But I've talked to the band like over the years and stuff like that. But you've just been hiding.
Dude, sometimes you just gotta hide. I do all the interviews. I don't know. Sometimes they give me a break, I guess. Yeah.
How have you been, man? Like, it's good to have you guys back. It's you guys have always, I mean, to me, you guys have always been a career kind of band. Whether you take a break or not, I felt like Underoath was always just going to exist. But, you know, how do you feel about that?
I feel now that more real than ever. Like, this tour, in particular, is like, the Erase Me tour is the biggest tour we've ever done, which is kind of crazy. It's like even bigger than our reunion tour, which just like reassures us that the band is still growing and there's still work to do. And when we play the set, like you'll see tonight and any of the nights for anyone who else is going to this tour, it's the longest we've ever played, and it's like a lot of moving parts in the set. It's like a really special set. It's my favorite set list we've ever had. Nice. And it makes me feel like, we had this conversation on the bus the other day. I was like, dude, I kind of feel like we're a real band. It's like we're not just,
after so long, like you finally feel that way.
Like especially the way this genre started, and like obviously all these bands grow into what they really want to be eventually. But you start as kids and you're like in a phase, and like it's all like small rooms. It's all about just like swing your guitar as much as you can, loud, fast, lights, flash. You know, and like you kind of carry that mentality with you through, like you're kind of growing, but you kind of forget that everything needs to grow. And like we made a set list that covers all sides of Underoath and our career, and it's like a really good like time capsule into like who we are and like where we're going, and it's cool. You'll see tonight. It's like I feel like it's our first real show.
It's like a whole discography that you guys are doing, like the best of like type of.
Yeah, we just picked songs off every record that we've had since They're Only Chasing Safety to now, and obviously there's a little bit more new songs than any of the other because we got a new record, but.
Oh, for real? I didn't know that.
we do like everything, and it's like a good, I don't know, it's just a good night, you know.
Now, before we actually jump into Erase Me, I want to talk about this new collaboration you did with KAYZO, which is like different for the band and different for him as well. Like, how did this kind of happen, and you know, what was that kind of chemistry like between the two of you?
It's super easy. What happened is we got hit up by KAYZO, who wanted to collab on a song. So there's a demo for Erase Me. That's where the vocals sound. To me, the vocals are terrible. Like, so our manager sent him a demo, and he was like, "Sick, I love it." And then he sent back the song done.
That's crazy.
And we were like, "Wait, like we don't even."
It's like, that's from my phone. Like,
we don't have to do anything, and like that was cool, and it sounds dope. But it's like, if we would, I think next time when we collab, it'll be even more sick. But like, he just took a demo me and Aaron made for the Erase Me record that is a song that didn't make the record, and he was like, I love it, and then boom, he sent us that back, and he's like, I'm gonna put this out, and we were like, at the time we're so busy with all this stuff going on around this tour and like music videos that we just shot and like all this other stuff, we're like, okay, sick, so we don't have to do anything, and you love it, then cool. Not knowing how big he was and how many people would hear it, and now I'm kind of like, oh man, I wish we would have got to really sing on that. That would have been cool. You never thought someone was going to hear your one-take vocal that you made at 3 a.m., you know, probably drunk or something.
And then you guys got to go on to Escape with him and perform that. Like, that's also like a new experience for you. Like, that
was awesome because I feel like the vocals there sounded like what we would have done in the studio. Like we crushed it. It was fun. He's actually like the raddest dude ever. KAYZO's dope. It's like to know that there's people in the EDM world that listen and respect bands like Underoath and some of our peers. Like, that's cool, man. It's like, I think the world is getting smaller, but to me that means it's getting bigger. Like everything is kind of coming together. Like, if it's dope, let's all put it together. You know, like why wouldn't like an artist like that play the same festival as a band like us or Beartooth or Thrice or Bring Me the Horizon? Like, I feel like at some point all the walls are kind of gonna blow down. Yeah, definitely. Especially, I mean, rock has been so segregated. I mean, we get a lot of hate this year. Like, we did a lot of radio festivals, and kids would be like, I can't believe you play with fucking Godsmack, you sell out. And I was like, I don't comment back ever, but in my head I go, so 5 years ago, touring with Real Big Fish, because it's Warped Tour.
That makes sense, yeah. Exactly.
How does that, a ska band is just as weird as whatever the hell you want to call Godsmack. I don't listen to either of them. But if I get to play with anybody, I'm going to do what I do best in front of whoever is there.
Exactly.
So and that's the problem with rock music. Why does hip hop and pop and all this stuff have such bigger festivals and more success? It's because they don't subgenre everything.
Yeah.
Like, why can't, and they're doing it now. I think Danny Wimmer is a guy who owns festivals that we did them all this year. He's starting to involve bands. Thrice and Underoath were on most all of them, and Beartooth, and he had Bring Me on the year before. Like, he's starting to involve more bands from our side of the world. And I think when now Warped Tour is done, I think that's like the only saving grace we have is if we blow down the doors. It's like, it's just so funny that you think that it's normal for a band like Underoath to play with a ska band, but not a rock band.
Right.
Whether it's rock you respect or ska you respect or anything in between, you should be like, if it's rock, if there's guitars and drums, we should probably all be playing together.
Right. Well, it's true, but it's at the same time, it's like, I mean, people forget, back in 2004, 2005, when Chasing Safety came out, like, you guys were on the daily download on Fuse, and right before they introduced you guys, Britney Spears' music video was on, so it's like.
But also back then on Warped Tour, we were made fun of and ridiculed and the weirdest band out there, and then that became normal, so it's like, I don't know. I feel like if music is good and it's kind of in the same, all rock bands should play together in festivals, and pop festivals should be pop festivals, and hip hop festivals should be hip hop festivals. And if there's one that involves more of them, it's probably even bigger. You know, that's cool.
Right. You guys are on tour for the new album Erase Me, and this is the first time that after being in a band for so long, this is the first time that you guys are getting radio attention. You guys are doing radio tours as well. Like, how different was that kind of attention compared to back in the day when you guys were getting TV attention?
I think it's pretty similar. Yeah. I think it's just a different world now. I don't think any bands like us or Thrice or whoever would be on the radio that long ago, but there was Fuse and there was MTV2, but now, you have Sirius, XM, Jose Mangan. He blows down the door for a lot of bands. I think he's introduced a lot of people to a lot of cool stuff.
I think him and Allison are the only two that are really doing whatever it takes.
They do a lot for heavy music, and then Sirius picked us up, and then it was like FM was right behind, and we've never had any FM play ever, and I was like, this is crazy, but I look at it as like, remember back in the day when Rage Against the Machine was on the radio? Yeah. Like, you never thought of Rage Against the Machine as a radio band. Exactly. Like Tool, all over the radio, but they weren't a radio band. It's like, there's a difference. I feel like a band that can use radio as a tool, but they're still themselves, is different than a band that's like catering towards the radio. Right. We made a record that we loved and never thought, we didn't even know it was going to come out. We didn't know we were going to make it, like we didn't know. We didn't even know if we were going to be a band or what. We just made music that we loved, and then we turned it in. There was a lot of tension behind it. So we're stoked that there's any sort of outlet for rock music still, because it seems to be a hip hop world right now, it is what it is,
Now, I find it interesting that this is the second album since Chasing Safety that you guys kind of had some co-writing with it. With Chasing Safety, you had Copeland. Aaron from Copeland, and then this time you guys have John Feldman, and then you guys also had Andrews. Can't remember his first name. Andrews. Johnny Andrews. Yeah. So what was the idea behind having like co-writers again?
It wasn't necessarily co-writing. Like, we went and made. John Feldman wanted to make a record. We went up there and made music with him, and it was just like any other producer, except for he gets his hands a little bit more dirty, and he's like in the band. So when we make records, it's normally myself, Aaron, Chris, and Tim. Those are the only four people that normally play on the records. We're the ones that write everything. So when there's a producer in there, he's normally going to be on bass or second guitar if I'm on bass, or keys or whatever. Like, like I play guitar, keys, bass. Tim plays guitars, bass, and keys. Obviously, Chris plays keys. Aaron can play keys and drums. So we all get our hands dirty. So when we're doing pre-production stuff without a bass player and a second guitar player, sometimes the producer or whoever's in there, and he's coming up with ideas. So that's really what co-writing is. A lot of people in other worlds, co-writing is someone writes a song for you and you sing over it. With us, it was just, we made some songs with Feldman. We kept one, when we were demoing. And then me and Johnny Andrews made some songs together when I didn't know if this was going to be a band or not. I can't do it by myself. So I sat in a room with this guy, and we just, you can do it by yourself, but we played, like we made some stuff live, and we recorded it, and like passed ideas back and forth, and we're like, dude, this is sick. I love the song. And then Underoath was like, oh, let's use that song. You know, it's just one of my mini demos that I had.
Right.
So it wasn't necessarily like, let's co-write or let's like, it's just, you know, even Matt Squire, like when you're making music there, like your producer, if he's a good producer, he's going to have input, and that's considered co-writing. If he's like, that chorus sucks, hit the A, not the D, and you're like, well, that's co-writing, you know, and you're like, shit, you're right. Or you can be like, no, you're wrong, fuck off. You know, it just depends on what kind of person you are. And this time, during the breakup, a lot of that stuff happened, and the, like, reforming of the band, and that was us learning. You know, I felt like if you always think that you're the best, you're wrong. I feel like the more people you collaborate with, the more you're going to learn.
Right.
And just as long as you're not getting lazy and letting someone do your job. So, yeah.
Now with Matt Squire, this is the first time you guys collaborated with him. In fact, he was like almost like a happy accident because you guys were trying to go with someone else. Yeah. But you know, how did you guys come across Matt Squire, and what was it about him that really wanted you guys to jump in?
Dude, he wasn't even a thought. Like we were gonna make a record with
Jordan, right?
Jordan from Bring Me the Horizon. He's a good friend of ours. We were gonna just dig in and do something no band had ever done, you know. And then that didn't work out. Getting two bands on the same schedule is just impossible. And then there was a couple ideas that came up, and Squire was one of them. We'd never talked to him. We got on a phone call with him. We were just like, it just clicked. Yeah. It's just one of those things, you know, like the chemistry was right, and we made the right call because we got there, and he was like Zen master. You know, it was like really like chill. So it was dope.
And what was it that this time, like you guys mentioned, you guys were all the healthiest you guys have been as a band creating this record. So what do you think it was? Do you think the break had a big impact on that?
100%. Yeah. We walked away from it thinking we'd never do it again. And then getting back together, you know, you let all that shit go and learn to forgive each other and love each other and communicate. So it's really healthy. We did it because we wanted to. Right. We weren't like, we got to make a record and we got to go back on tour. And like,
it was just a natural process.
It was just like, let's make music because we want to. Yeah. So, and we made music that we love. So it was really healthy.
Now you guys all, like when the breakup happened, you guys all went out your ways and created your own music. You created Sleepwave and toured that, you know, made a record with it. How do you feel, you know, Sleepwave, the creation of Sleepwave kind of impacted the way that, you know, when you went into the studio to create Underoath, like, do you feel like it impacted you or affected you in any way?
I mean, everything's a learning experience. You know, I've like when I made that Sleepwave record, me and my friend Steven, it's like we talk about it now. Like there's so many things we would have done different, but we didn't know what we wanted, and we were scared of certain things. And you know, every time something got too catchy, we would want to change it. It still had some of that old school Underoath mentality to it, which Underoath always painted themselves into a smaller and smaller box. You know, and those are just things you have to outgrow and learn. And I feel like that was a learning process. I learned a lot from it. I don't think it changed anything other than positive things about me and the band and how we go about stuff. Yeah.
Now, Bloodlust on the record is a serious topic.
Yeah.
You know, putting that to paper, like, what was that like for you? And let alone like getting it out to your audience.
It's therapeutic.
Yeah.
I you know, my job, I got one job is to be honest with people that want to listen. So it doesn't bother me. I think a million songs have helped me out. So it's the least I can do.
What do you feel like was the biggest challenge with this record? Even though you guys weren't planning on like making it such a big deal.
I just think, I don't know. I think I think everything we thought before we got there was the biggest challenge. Like getting out of your own head before we got there, because we thought it was going to be a fight. We thought it was going to be, this guy doesn't want this, this guy doesn't want that. Like every Underoath record has been so miserable to make, and we got there and all that stuff went away. So yeah, just getting there was the biggest challenge. Yeah. Once we got there, it was fucking great.
Now this is the actual, like the first actual tour for the record. You guys have just been touring nonstop, but it's more like festivals and this and that. So, you know, how different is it, you know, having the proper tour for an album as opposed to like doing the whole festival runs?
You'll see tonight. That's great. Yeah.
I heard a little bit of it during soundcheck.
Come to a show and find out. It's so much better. I love headlining.
Yeah. You guys are closing out this tour with something that I never imagined, a reunion from Anberlin. How did you guys pull that together?
They hit us up and wanted to play on our show. So they're our friends from Tampa. So yeah.
It's one of those things where I was telling Brent earlier, I was like, dude, I think I might have to do like an early Christmas present and just like head out to Florida, because it's like you can't miss that.
You can't. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah. So what else is next for you guys? 2018 is almost done. You guys, I mean, this record doesn't seem like it's gonna die out or, you know, finish the tour life anytime soon.
Yeah, so we'll just be a lot more touring. You got to hit all the countries, and hopefully come back and do America again. And we're gonna stay busy.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome, dude. Well, thanks again for reuniting with me. It's been so long, but you guys, Underoath is back with a new album, Erase Me. It's out now. Thanks for watching on Front Row Live.
Thank you.